As a society, we need to develop thicker skin. We tend to crumble under pressure of circumstances around us, whether it's coming from people or whether it's coming from just life not being fair, when people are being rude or mean or just giving constructive criticism, or if life is just throwing monkey wrenches at you, whether it's car accidents, hospital bills, or whatever the case may be. And what do? We turn and we blame people and we blame God and we blame this and everything but ourselves, and we don't take accountability for our own actions, and it has resulted in a society of thin-skinned people. So instead of actually dealing with the problem firsthand, we just turn to blaming things, or we crumble, or we cry, or we just get into the fetal position and just let life have its way, I guess. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to develop thicker skin so we can toughen up as a society, because it's getting ridiculous. So with this comes a few realizations that you need to make. One, people are always wanting to give their opinions. They always have something to say. They might not even always mean what they have to say all the time, but bottom line is they're always going to say something, right? And on a given day, people say a bunch of things that rub people the wrong way, whether they know it or not. And by knowing this, what you need to do is look within, know yourself, and know what makes you tick, what makes you upset, what are you insecure about that maybe somebody's going to have something to say about later, and that can get you in that preparation for whatever people have to say in general. That's step number one. Beyond just learning what gets to you or what your pain points are, you also need to understand that every person in the world has totally different pain tolerances. So me, for an example, I have a huge pain tolerance, physically, mentally, whatever the case may be. I have a high pain tolerance. With that said, when things happen in life, or when people say certain things, they just generally don't faze me. Now, I'm still human, so I have feelings and I feel certain ways about certain things. However, I'm not expressive in how I feel about every little thing that happens. If someone calls me out of my name, or if someone disrespects me, it's like I can deal with those situations. I can handle them and address them and make sure it never happens again. However, I'm not going to lose my cool about it. I'm not going to get out of character. I'm not going to change who I am just because a certain situation is going on. And I'm definitely not just going to let things continuously happen without addressing them. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So what everyone needs to realize is everyone has a different pain tolerance. So when someone's complaining about, yeah, I didn't get that much sleep last night, so I'm in a bad mood, saying they got 4 hours of sleep, other people like to compare, say, well, I only got 3 hours and I'm feeling just fine. And then it turns into a competition of whose life is the worst. You know what I mean? So understanding that can also give you thicker skin, because we have to be socially, situationally, and self-aware when it comes to life and when it comes to how people interact. And we have to understand that a lot of the bad things that people say, a lot of the negative, harsh things that people say, what is the actual reason for it? Maybe they're just having an issue. 9 times out of 10, when someone is rude to you, it's not because of you. It's because of them. It's because of some problem they have in their life. And the quicker you understand that, and the quicker you understand that maybe their pain tolerance isn't as high as yours when it comes to dealing with life situations, the better your situation becomes. On top of that, knowing your own pain tolerance is what is the kicker in this whole thing, because when you look at other people's pain tolerance, it's easy to think of a person as weak, but you gotta look into your own pain tolerance and be like, okay, this is what I can take right now, this is what I can't take right now, this is something that I can't show weakness on. Like, even though my blood is boiling on the inside, this is something that I can't let this person know is getting to me right now. Like, if I want to go home and punch a wall later, fine, but right now, not a good idea to let them know they're getting under your skin, because typically what happens is when people know they're getting under your skin, they keep getting under your skin. Why? Because it makes them feel better, because their pain tolerance is not where it should be. Then in the grand scheme of things, think about this. Whose opinion really even matters? I made a video a while ago about how to stop caring what other people think of you. You can catch it up here, but Like, really, whose opinion really matters to you? Like, the people closest to me, their opinions matter to me, like family, close friends, or it could be professionally at work, like my boss's feedback matters. Obviously, the people that surround me, their feedback matters. But any old person walking across the street, like, really, everybody's going to give you their opinion, but you have to filter in your mind whose opinions really matter. Like, whose opinions are there to actually consider and whose opinions are just there. You know what I mean? Like, people give opinions on movies all the time, positive or negative. But whose opinions really matter? In your life, who really matters? Your significant other's opinion probably matters. Your brother or sister's opinions matter, I'm sure. But it's completely situational. It's like, at what point do you sit down and get real with yourself and say, well, hey, this person's giving their opinion, it's negative and it's harsh and it's rude, but does it really matter? Should it even be getting to me? Do they even mean what they're actually saying, or are they just trying to get a reaction? Because that's typically what people of a low pain tolerance are trying to do. And that's really the bottom line. Like, if you want to have thicker skin, you have to filter this in your mind first. Their opinion doesn't even matter. And if someone's opinion does matter and it's making you feel a certain way, you need to look within, like, what can I actually improve? Because sometimes you do need to fix something. Sometimes you do need to change something in your life in order to become a better person. And you can't do that if you're always thinking the other person's wrong and thinking that they're just being negative. Like, that's another point of having thicker skin, and really another point in emotional intelligence in general, is looking at yourself and self-reflecting and saying, hey, these are my flaws and these are what I need to work on right now, versus saying, oh, everybody's just mean or the world is just out to get me. Like, no, grow up. You're an adult. Like, get out of here. Something needs to be changed. So you also got to think about it that way too. Before I keep going real quick, I just want to mention this really great book I just got finished reading. It's called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. That is an incredible book because it specifically goes over mental toughness as a whole. And really, it touches on principles from emotional intelligence, because it talks about the entire life struggles of David Goggins, which are maybe your and my struggles times like 20. And he just goes over how he's had a ton of hurdles, and at any given point in his life he could have just been like, you know what, I give up, screw it, I'm done, life isn't fair, this wasn't meant for me. But he kept going, and I'm not going to spoil the book for anyone. You should check it out for yourself. It's actually linked in the description. But seriously, it just, books like that go to show that there's a ton of things going against people. And what happens when you have one victory? Well, guess what? Here's another challenge. It's not like it never ends with that victory. Like, no book that I've ever read or no movie that I've ever seen just ends at the victory. There's always another challenge after. And that's what life is all about. How well are you at adapting to new things? Because it doesn't just stop after you reach one goal. It doesn't just stop after you jump over one hurdle. Guess what? There's another. After you win one game in football, guess what? There's another. So it doesn't stop just because you've won. So that's what people need to realize. But anyways, incredible book. Check it out. Linked in the description. Moving on. This is probably one of the most uncommon pieces of advice that I'm going to give about this specific topic. And it's really this. A fantastic way to develop thicker skin, and this is straight up off of my experience. Be open to feedback. Sit down with people regularly, whether it's your professional life or your personal life. If you know specifically that you're struggling with something, or if you don't even know what you're struggling in, sit down with somebody you trust and just go over things that you need to improve on. And if the other person doesn't know, they're like, well, honestly, I can't think of anything. Tell them what you think you need to work on, and they can give you feedback on your thoughts on what you think you need to work on. Because something I noticed is the constant addressing of things you need to work on, or just constantly being in a chaotic type of environment. And if you're a thin-skinned person, feedback can get pretty chaotic, right? And so if you're constantly in a chaotic environment, eventually it becomes normal and you can operate within that chaos. And then it's just another day at the office. It's no longer this painful, grueling thing you have to go over with somebody. It's literally just a normal day. It's just a random, it's just a normal part of your life. So that's what I want to leave you guys with today. And I want you guys to be very open-minded about this video, because again, so many people have thin skin and they let anything get to them and they blame others and they just don't address the real situations, and they just kind of curl up in a ball in a corner and hoping that the problem will pass, or even worse, they'll just ignore the problem altogether and I don't get it. But anyways, I'm not going to hold you guys up. Check out my other videos, and thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel if you liked what you saw, and I have videos coming out every week. I haven't made a video in a while. I had to take a nice long break. It was much needed. So anyways, the videos are going to keep going consistently now, and thank you so much for watching. Check out one of these videos that are showing right now. Control you, control your finances, control your life. Thanks so much for watching, guys.